It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day here at Emerson. Why don't we haven't done this in a while. Why don't we start by greeting each other? Why don't we start by looking at somebody that you didn't come here with, make eye contact with them, not creepy eye contact, just normal people eye contact. Make eye contact with them and say, it's good to see you here today. Why don't we just do that, just for a minute. Do it a couple times. Oh, that was last week.
That's so last week.
We thought you could push the head and it would agree with you.
The Pope.
Yeah, Pope loves it.
It's good to see you here. It is good to see you all here. We do have a couple announcements this morning. First of all, normally, just to remind you, we'll have coffee outside after services. We'll also, some of us may go to lunch, just an opportunity to continue the conversation, have a little fellowship. There's a sign outside to tell you where to go to lunch. And our continuing care team is here. If you need to talk to somebody about something that happened to you during the week or something that happened to you today, our continuing care team is here, and they are recognizable because they are wearing yellow name tags, and there's a few of them waving their hands. Please feel free to just introduce yourself to them and say, I'd like to talk to you about blank, and they will make sure that you get to the right person to talk to. If you are still new around here, we welcome you. We love having people come and check us out. I recommend that you come 7 times to see if this place fits into your spiritual journey. And if it does, at some point in those 7 visits, you may want to fill out one of those yellow cards. That will get you on our database. That will get you the weekly newsletter, which we promise to send you only twice, not 42 emails a week, just 2, so that you know what's going on here. 2 other quick announcements. Next Sunday is the second No Kings. What did I say? I said it's Saturday. Whatever it was I said. I meant Saturday. I don't know what came out. On Saturday, we will be leaving from here and carpooling to avoid the whole parking and walking alone kind of thing. So if you're looking to participate in the No Kings, speak to Ellen. Is that a good idea? Ellen? Ellen, I think there's a table outside, right? Yeah, there is. So you can organize to that. Also next, is Alejandra Posada here? Oh, there she is. Okay. Also next week, next week is my Sunday off. We are going to be holding a worship planning session on Sunday. We did one last year for you to give me feedback and for you to give me ideas for services. This year we're doing something new. We're doing it intentionally when I'm not going to be here. In case there's something you want to say that you don't want me to hear, I won't be here. So it'll be run upstairs in the library probably. We'll find a room. Yeah. It'll be in the just check the e-blast. We would love to get your feedback because one of the things of being a minister is like I'm kind of guessing what I think you want to hear. So feedback on style or content or themes or whatever it is you want, music, whatever comments you have, please come next Sunday after services. And there will be pizza. So even if you don't care about worship, but you're hungry, you can come up to the meeting, which will be upstairs, to give feedback. And now we welcome Alejandra Posada to give us a stewardship update. We're in the 2nd week of stewardship?
Yes.
2nd week of stewardship.
2nd week.
Wonderful.
Thank you. And we'll also welcome Deborah Wotring to come up. I'll just say a few words and then pass that over to her. So as Reverend Ed said, I'm Alejandra Posada. I'm the chair of the Stewardship Committee this year, along with wonderful Lori Hammonds. And we kicked off our stewardship drive this year a week ago yesterday, and are thrilled. We had a wonderful fellowship supper. The pledges have started to come in. There's an update in your e-blast every week, and that takes a lot of work to process all of that. So I want to thank the other Alejandra, our congregational administrator, as well as Jill Rose and everybody who makes that process possible. If we do have a stewardship table out here, and if you have not yet had a chance to jot down on a little card what Emerson means to you, I'd love it if you took a few minutes to think about that and pick one of the colored Sharpies that's there and write us a note. And we also have a new feature this week. These hearts, these were diligently cut by my 10-year-old twin nephews. I told them I would pay them 20 cents per heart to cut hearts, and they were all over that. And then they each got a $5 bonus at the end, so they were really pleased to make $20 yesterday doing this. They're 10. They love opportunities to make their own money. So thank you all who have been helping with the stewardship campaign. Thank you to all of those who have pledged, and to all of those who are here for helping to make this, such an incredible community. And part of what we're really trying to do with this year's stewardship campaign is celebrate all those aspects that do make this such an incredible community. And with that, to talk about some of that, I'll pass it over to Deborah.
Yeah, thanks, Alejandra. My name is Deborah Woodring, and for those of you who came to the fellowship dinner, you already heard this, but maybe it's good to hear it again. The exciting news about our church is that we are growing our religious education program for our elementary kids, our young little ones, and our youth. So here's a quick blurb. If you want to know more details, feel free to give me a call. If you don't have my number, call the office and they'll give it to you. But here's the exciting news. We have 2 new elementary school age Sunday school classes, one for the 4, 5, and 6-year-olds, and I am teaching that. I'm the primary teacher, and we have the cutest group of 4, 5, and 6-year-olds, you guys. This is just so much fun for me. I was working with the youth last year, so this is a whole nother thing. And then we have an upper elementary class, 2nd through 5th grade, and we are so excited about the new parents and the parents who've been with us for a while who are bringing their kids to this class. We have asked the parents if they wanted to do a parent support group on Sunday mornings. So we're doing a parent support group for the parents with younger children, and we're doing a parent support group for our parents of our youth. So how about that on Sunday mornings? So on top of that, we have our youth. Our youth group has grown from 4 a year and a half ago to 12 now. And we are so loving having, let's do that. And for those of you who were here in May for our coming of age service, it was our first coming of age service in approximately 7 years. And I would have to say, I was one of the teachers, but it was pretty spectacular. And then on top of that, we have summer camp this year for the first time in approximately 32 to 35 years. We had 11 campers. And it was just magnificent. I don't know, the adjectives keep growing in my mind. That's how it feels to me. I was an assistant director, and we had hired a director from one of the Woodlands Church, the Unitarian Universalist Church, and it was so much fun. And the best of all news was when I called you and emailed you, many of you, you said, yes, I can help. I can help sew a cape. Yes, I can help drive kids from the Afghan families who we've been helping. They had children come to our camp. You said, yes, I'll cut out, scraps of paper, or I'll clean up or whatever. And I have counted 27 people from our church did something, whether it was a 1 hour or whether it was all 5 days, that helped with summer camp. We're doing that again every summer, and this summer we're starting again, and I'm starting my committee, so you'll see something in the e-blast. Next week we'll start meeting and getting our marketing together so that we can start getting people enrolled in January. So I am so excited and happy about what's going on in our church relating to our children and our youth religious education program and the parents who are all bringing their children here. And I look forward to seeing this upward spiral continue. And the pledges that you make here every month, put your check in the box or get your bank account debited. It's just a part of growing this religious community. And please, please be generous. Thank you.
In Unitarian Universalist Sunday churches like this one, across the nation and across the world, we light a chalice at the start of worship and other gatherings. I would like to invite Linda Condit to have the honor of lighting our chalice this morning. As Linda lights our chalice flame here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you joining us from home or away on YouTube to light a candle or chalice of your own. In the words of Reverend Shari Woodbury, the light of the chalice represents the spark of the Spirit cupped in earth's embrace. It represents the light of love alive in all creation. And when we kindle this flame here in the presence of this beloved community, we rekindle our connection to the sacred web of life. When we light our candle, we hear words of timeless wisdom to help center us for our time together. For the month of October, our chalice lighting words come from Assata Shakur. Assata Shakur, born Joanne Deborah Byron, was an American activist, revolutionary, fugitive, and member of the Black Liberation Army. She was the step-aunt and godmother of rapper Tupac Shakur. After being convicted of murder in 1977, she lived under political asylum in Cuba until her death late last month. Please join me in reading these words as they appear on your screen. We need to be weapons of mass construction, weapons of mass love. It's not enough just to change the system. We need to change ourselves. We welcome you here today. We welcome you who come here for the first, the fifth, or the 500th time. We welcome you who come with heavy hearts or with joyous spirits. We welcome you to be with us as we experience the mysteries of a fully human life together. Please join me in our welcoming. The words are on the screen. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, wherever you find yourself on your life's journey, whichever your pronouns, whether you've walked in or rolled in or dialed in, whomever you love, you are welcome here.
Good morning again. My name is Reverend Ed, and I am the minister here. I neglected to introduce Mary Cochran as our worship associate. Thank you once again, Mary, for all the things you do for the church, including being a worship associate. I invite you into this place of peace, this place of community, this place of wisdom, and this place of wonder. I would like to offer you a chance to take a moment to center yourself, to ground yourself in your presence in this place, with all those present here in the sanctuary, with all those joining us on YouTube. Together, we are the Emerson community. We invite you to allow yourself to breathe, to feel yourself sink into the seat below you, to feel your own weight pressing against the seat back, to feel your own heart beating, feel the blood running through your veins, feel the wind running through your lungs, and the thoughts running through your mind here in this room, connected in a real and valuable way. I invite you to do one of the hardest things you might be asked to do today. Just be. We will exit this moment of meditation or prayer or peace or whatever you like to call it. We will exit this moment with our voices raised, singing our first hymn. The choir will hum the hymn once through to give you a moment to come back into the room, and then we hope you will join by standing and singing with us if you are able or willing. It is our tradition here at Emerson to light a candle of joy and remembrance upon significant events that happen in the life of this congregation. And today we are passing along news that we did not get the news until it was too late to put it in the e-blast, but it'll be out next week. We are passing on news that a friend of the congregation, Art Peterson, has died. Many of you may know Art. He left here in 2013, but my understanding is that he stayed in tight contact with some of you, even 12 years, 13 years on. So we light this candle today in honor of our friend, Art Peterson, and we hold a moment of silence for hope and love and for the family of Mr. Peterson. We welcome Mr. Peterson as an ancestor of this place. And now, I would light this candle. And I would like to offer you the opportunity to participate in this ceremony that is so dear in Unitarian Universalist churches throughout the country. This is sharing of joys and concerns, and it is one of the most lovely parts, I think, of Unitarian Universalist sources. We would invite those of you who entered in here today carrying a joy of spirit to bring that spirit into the room by coming forward and lighting a candle. And we would invite those of you who came into the room today carrying a concern or a weight to also bring that into this room, to share that into this room symbolically by lighting a candle. And we do this every now and then here at Emerson, and we do it so that we see and we have a physical representation of what we all are bringing into this room. So I would invite you now, if you have a joy or if you are carrying a concern, you don't have to come up, but if you are and feel that lighting it into this room would help you or allow you to celebrate or allow you to mourn, we invite you now to come and celebrate this ritual with us. These beautiful little lights that you see in front of you represent what you brought in with you into the room this morning. They represent your joys, they represent your sorrows. They are the blood that you feel coursing through this community's veins. They are the wind that fills its lungs, and they are the marrow that fill its bones. We welcome them, we celebrate them, we love them, and we are so glad that they and you are all here with us this morning. And speaking about being with us this morning, if you are a young learner and would like to go to your religious education class, you can do so now. And now I think it's Richard. Welcome, Richard, with our UU history moment. You and you and UU history moment.
Got it. Thank you, Reverend Ed. Good morning. Unitarian Universalist history is rich and very deep, and it's been documented brilliantly in Frank Schulman's book, and it goes all the way back to the 16th century. This is the book, This Day in UU History, and it's available in our bookstore if you'd like your very own copy. For the week of October 6th through October 12th, on the 6th of October in 1779, Nathaniel Appleton was born in Ipswich, New Hampshire. He was a merchant, a manufacturer, a financier, a politician and philanthropist, a mill owner and operator himself. He was concerned about the human suffering caused by the factory system and sought to change working conditions in the U.S. Appleton believed the Unitarian principle of the goodness of human nature, and that could be combined with sound business practices. He was an active member of the Federal Street Church, now the Arlington Street Church in Boston, under the ministries of William Ellery Channing and Ezra Stiles Gannett. As one of the 10 richest men in Boston, he engaged in large-scale philanthropy and public service. He also served 6 terms in the Massachusetts legislature and 1 term in the U.S. House of Representatives. Nathaniel Appleton died on July the 14th in 1861. And on the 12th of October in 1808, Frances Dana Parker Gage was born in Union, Ohio. She was a noted social reformer, writer, and public speaker for women's rights, temperance, and racial justice. As president of the Ohio Women's Rights Convention, 1851 to 1853, she refused to let men speak and ruled them out of order when they tried. Maybe they cried too. She heard and recorded Sojourner Truth's famous speech, "Ain't I a Woman?" Organized the first women's temperance society and wrote anti-slavery and temperance articles. In 1862, Gage and her daughter Mary went to South Carolina to help former slaves acquire housing, medical care, and education. Her 4 sons fought for the Union in the Civil War, and after a stroke in 1867, Gage wrote children's books, novels, and poetry. She was a member of the Universalist Church for many years, but left it because it did not support many of the causes she championed. She died on November 10th, 1884. That's This Day in UU History. Reverend Ed?
At this point in our service, we hear words of wisdom, and these words of wisdom come to us from people from all over the world, from all over time. Today, we hear from Paulo Freire. Paulo Freire was a Brazilian educator and philosopher who died in 1997 at the age of 75. His work revolutionized global thought on education. He is widely regarded as one of the most important educational theorists of the 20th century, alongside people like John Dewey and Maria Montessori. He is considered the grandfather of critical theory. His words this morning are from his 1968 and best-known work, The Pedagogy of the Oppressed, in which he reimagines teaching as a collaborative act of liberation rather than simple transmission. He says, freedom is acquired by conquest, not a gift. It must be pursued consistently and responsibly. Freedom is not an ideal located outside of man, nor it is an idea which becomes a myth. It is rather the indispensable condition for the quest for human completion. And now I invite Mary Cochran to bring us into our offertory.
Emerson's purpose statement is, "Our beloved community of faith, reason, and affection welcomes all to grow in mind and spirit as we build a better world." We remind you of it each week by stating it right there in your order of service. We live out our purpose in many different ways. We worship together, we learn together, we lobby together, and we spread our faith through our actions. We also give our time, talent, and treasure to partners in Houston and across the nation and the planet who we feel are living out our purpose in ways that we only wish we could. We support those partners each week at this time in our service. 75% of today's offering will go to our October Share the Plate recipient, Texas Environmental Justice Advocacy Services. Its goal is to promote environmental protection through education, policy development, community awareness, and legal action, because all people are entitled to live in a clean environment, regardless of race or economic condition. The remaining 25% of today's offering will go to Interfaith Ministries Meals on Wheels, which provides thousands of meals every day to Houston's homebound seniors. You can go to our webpage for online giving, put cash or check in our offering baskets, or mail a check to the church. The words for our second reading today come from the Christian scriptures, specifically the letters of St. Paul to the Galatians, chapters 5, verses 13 through 18. Galatians is one of the undisputed letters of St. Paul. It was written about 15 years after the death of Jesus and was primarily addressing whether Gentiles who wished to become Christians had to also comply with Mosaic law. St. Paul did not think compliance with Mosaic law was important to new Christians. We are reading from the Message, paraphrasing. Here he is addressing freedom. It is absolutely clear that God has called you to a free life. Just make sure that you don't use this freedom as an excuse to do whatever you want to do and destroy your freedom. Rather, use your freedom to serve one another in love. That's how freedom grows. For everything we know about God's word is summed up in a single sentence: love others as you love yourself. That's an act of true freedom. If you bite and ravage each other, watch out. In no time at all, you will be annihilating each other. And where will your precious freedom be then? My counsel is this: live freely, animated and motivated by God's Spirit. Then you won't feel the compulsions of selfishness. For there is a root of sinful self-interest in us that is at odds with the free spirit, just as the free spirit is incompatible with selfishness. These two ways of life are contrary to each other, so that you cannot live at times one way and at times another way according to how you feel on any given day.
Good old St. Paul. So today we're talking about freedom, and it's part of the Reclaiming series. Reclaiming freedom, taking it back from people who wave the flags, taking it back from people who have somehow managed to claim freedom as their own. Freedom is inherent in humanity. You are free. That's all there is to it. You are free. It's different than liberty. We sometimes put those two words together, right? Freedom and liberty. Well, they're two different things. Freedom is something that you are born with, that comes to you. It's one of those inalienable rights given to you by your Creator, according to the Declaration of Independence. Liberty is simply the freedom of not being oppressed by someone else, government, whatever. Let's first address liberty. And to do that, I have a quote from Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin said, "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." Benjamin Franklin was not a big fan of giving up liberty to government. And I have to say that I absolutely agree with him. If you're going to give up your liberty to anybody, government would be my last choice. Surrendering liberty to government is not a good idea. And we see this in the First Amendment to the Constitution. Remember, people think that the First Amendment gives you the right of worship, the right of speech, the right of getting together, right? What? Assembly, thank you. But it doesn't do that at all. What it does is it says, Congress shall make no laws impeding these things. So it is not granting you freedom. It is limiting the ability of government to limit your freedom in those areas. This is an important thing. We oftentimes think that the First Amendment gives us something. It doesn't give us anything. It simply limits government. Because freedom is basically, and liberty is not being oppressed by government. So it puts a line in the sand that we cross very often, but we cross it. So most of these government rights are not rights at all. They are simply limitations on government. Now let's look at freedom, differing from liberty. Freedom is a philosophical and theological idea. And to illustrate the concept of freedom, I have a joke. Now, I am well aware of my spotty history telling jokes, so I wrote this one down. This joke comes in the middle of a set of by comedian Louis Black. For those of you who've grown, I have cleaned it up considerably. It comes in the middle of a set that was delivered around 2000, and he was observing adults are ruining what it means to be a child in this set. And here he's specifically addressing how adults have stolen Halloween from children. He says, did you have your chance to wear the costumes? Yes. That was your time. That's when you did it. We do it at Halloween. We allow children to dress up. It's the one time a year we let them do it. And we go, that's it, kiddo. No more dressing up, okay? The rest of the year, you're not putting on any of that gear. Shove it in the back of the closet. Then you're an adult, sir. You can wear a costume whenever you want, can't you? You don't need a special day. Ah, that makes me angry, he says. You don't need a special day. Any day you want, you can walk into work dressed as Batman. Any day you want. And if the boss says, who are you? You say, I'm Batman. Better yet, do it on a day that let the parents bring their kids to work and have your son show up as Robin. That's why you have Batman on the front of your order of service. You have an adult man in a Batman costume. In case you were wondering what that was all about, it ties back to the Lewis Black joke. And I may very well be the first minister in the history of forever to leverage a Lewis Black joke. So let's look at freedom from Lewis Black's perspective. You are free. You can wear a Batman costume to work whenever. You could wear it to church if you wanted to. Knock yourself out. You're right. You are absolutely free, and so am I. Now, some of you are sitting there a little bit uncomfortable saying that, boy, this is coming from a position of privilege. Not everybody is as free as I am. I am a white, cisgendered, straight, male, born in the United States at a certain time. I have privilege that not everyone else has, and you are right about that. But stay tuned. We'll get to that later. So freedom, back to freedom. Freedom is a philosophical concept, right? It is which makes it hypothetical. I don't know, Mike, did you cover forms today in your class? So if you were up in the adult RE class, Plato's forms came up. Those are these perfect things, right? They are very hypothetical. Other things that are hypothetical things are the straight line, which is impossible to have, according to mathematicians. The perfect circle, also impossible to have. Immovable objects, everything's movable somehow. These are all things that are hypothetical. Liberty and freedom are not the same thing. Freedom, however, is lost in little teeny tiny bits. That pure freedom that Lewis Black was talking about, which is what made the joke funny, we lose it in two key ways. The first way is it is curtailed. And the second way is that is surrendered. So, let's look at this for a minute. Curtailed. When your freedom is curtailed, your freedom is taken away from you outside of your control. You didn't give this freedom away, it was taken from you. Some examples might be you're stranded on a desert island. Well, there are a whole bunch of things you can't do stranded on a desert island. Or you're in prison. There are a whole bunch of things you can't do when you're in prison. Talking about being in irons or being in chains, let's say you're on a sailboat and there's no wind. There's a whole bunch of things you can't do. This taking of freedom is what makes slavery such an abomination. Even when your freedom is curtailed, even in the most deplorable of ways, going back to the philosophical, it is never fully gone. Even if you are on that sailboat with no wind, you are still free to make up your mind. Even if the only thing you have control of is your attitude, you still have freedom. But it is curtailed. Even people in the most abhorrent of human conditions has freedom to do something. It's just that sometimes their only choices are bad choices. And that's where we're limited. You and I, however, surrender our freedoms every day, every minute. You're surrendering them right now. You're all free to just jump up and start yelling, but you don't, right? You and I surrender freedoms every day. We drive on the right, not the left. Most people. We don't walk into a room full of people and yell fire. We don't defame, libel, or slander. And we don't, for the most part, wear a Batman costume to work. This is because, and the other thing we don't do is in course of social discourse, we don't say everything we think, right? That would not be a good thing. We curtail our own freedom. I want to just do a brief aside here. I found this out. I think you're going to find this riveting. In the United States, did you know that truth was not a defense against libel until 1875? If you said something that harmed someone else, even though it was true, you could still be held accountable for libel, even though it was true. It was 1875 when truth became a defense against libel or slander. Is that an amazing thing? I would never have thought that. So why do we give up? Why do we walk away? Why do we surrender our freedoms? Well, because pure freedom, freedom in its purest form, is not in our best interest. And let me give you a little proof of that. We have two values, our UU values. We have two of them, interdependence and pluralism, right? These are two of our new values. We surrender our freedom because we need one another more than we need this pure form of freedom. We surrender our freedom because we know that we see each other as different. The world is different, and we each see the world differently, and freedom can get messy if we add it in there. Knowledge is knowing that freedom is true. Knowledge is knowing that freedom really is inalienable, and knowledge is knowing that freedom is surrenderable. Wisdom is choosing to surrender the parts of our freedom that we want to for the greater good. People talk about our big rights, our rights of speech, assembly, religion, but our biggest freedom, the one we exercise most commonly, is the freedom to surrender our freedom. Franklin said, "Never surrender essential liberty to government." In real practice, we surrender non-essential freedom, non-essential liberty all the time. We surrender it to government and we surrender it to each other because it is in our best interest to do so. The swing and miss, the great swing and miss at this moment, I think, of the United States and where we have gone wrong really came out to me and jumped out to me while I was doing my research for today. When you just go in and Google freedom, you get a full list, a full cup. My cup runneth over of dramatized storybook views of freedom. Shawshank Redemption style, or Lee Greenwood style. Wear a Batman costume whenever you want style. And this ideological view of freedom is, I think, the current speed bump, the current roadblock, maybe, that we are on. I think it leads to this obsession with unnecessary guns. I think it leads to a legalistic view that the one with the best lawyers or senators or judges wins. I think that it leads to economic systems that are tilted more and more to serve the powerful. Ideologies are bad news. They are perfect. They are painted. They are AI generated. They are unreal. Real is nothing of the sort. The United States, in my opinion, needs to get back to a more real view of what freedom is. According to St. Paul, we were not given this inalienable freedom so we can do whatever we want. We were given this freedom because along with freedom came interdependence and pluralism, both as part of the human condition. Just look around. Interdependence and pluralism are not wishes. They are statements of fact. This fact, interdependent, pluralistic, is apparently very worrisome to the people in power, and has been for 50 years. We are now using our government in deplorable ways to curtail freedoms of people who don't fit the definition of whatever the definition is today. And all of this is led by this false ideological view of freedom. We, you and I, need to take back freedom. We need to take back that childlike, ideological, AI-generated freedom and recognize that freedom is hard work. Those willing to do the hard work of freedom need to take it back. Take it back from those who want to watch the movie Hollywood version of it. Recognize that the truth is that we are independent. Sorry, I said that wrong. Well, that was really wrong. Recognize that the truth is that we are interdependent. Recognize that the truth is we are pluralistic. Stop living in a pretend world that artificially creates winners and losers. We've spent most of the last 50 years determining who the winners were going to be and who the losers were going to be, instead of saying, why do we need to have a system that creates so many losers and so few winners? Let's just not do that. I pray here this morning that we may see our way to not only possessing this inalienable freedom that has been endowed by our Creator, but being accountable to that freedom. I pray that we may see our way to understand that one of our biggest freedoms isn't being the winner in some perverse game. I pray that we may see our way to knowing that our freedom does not make us less accountable or accountable only to ourselves, but it makes us more accountable. I pray for the welfare of our nation, for the people who are here. I pray for the welfare of the roughly 227 million people in the United States living paycheck to paycheck. I pray for the welfare of our nation, for the 2 million citizens we have in prison. I pray for the welfare of our nation, for the 27 million people still without health insurance. I pray as a nation that we recognize that our Hollywood, AI-generated view of freedom is keeping us from having true freedom in our nation. And I invite you all to make the same prayers with me and repossess freedom from the AI-generated Hollywood meme that it seems to have become right under our noses. Amen. I now invite you to stand as you are willing or able and sing along with us our second hymn. The words will be on the screen. Let's remember that peace does not come from oppressing dissent. Our time together is coming to a close, my friends. We have heard the words, we have heard the music, and we have sung the words that have brought us into community. Our time is coming to a close, but our work is not. The faith is not an easy faith, this faith we share. There are no simple answers and many, many questions, but it is in the questions that we grow. And it is in the questions that we find and hold the spark of the eternal life in all of us. I would now like to invite Linda to come and extinguish our chalice this morning. And as we do, let me bless you with the following words. May we, in the course of our week to come, keep love at the center of our lives through our thoughts and through our actions. May our shared values of interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity guide our every decision. May we have the strength to do all of this and to have fun doing it. And may our lived lives be our best worship. Amen.